Navigating today's real estate market can be tricky. Want to buy or sell a house, finance or insure a house, or stuck with a house and don't know what to do? Florida Talk Real Estate has been your local one-stop real estate shop since 2012. Get the advice you need from your local real estate pros. Here are your hosts, Jim DePola and Johnny C. live on Real Radio.
Yeah, that's right. We are live on Saturday, January 28th. There's a very festive mood here on Florida Talk Real Estate. Great to have you with us. And that is whether you're on the old terrestrial radio, that's 92.1 or 101.7. Thanks for being with us on a Saturday. Of course, maybe you're tuning in worldwide, possibly with your free download, your iHeartRadio app. And I notice we are live streaming as well. Yes, officially official. If you're on Facebook with us, Florida Talk Real Estate, or the YouTube page. That's Florida Talk Real Estate LLC. That's home of all kinds of informational videos. We live stream for 2 hours of infotainment every Saturday. Great to have you with us. Whatever the entry point is, you're welcome to be a part of the program. Toll free at 877-927-6969. Jimothy, our producer extraordinaire, he'll line you up. You make the call, we'll take that call. We is me, your boy Johnny C., your air traffic control, and of course, our Power Pack starting lineup with your Florida Talk Real Estate team on a Saturday. Let's say good morning to Mike Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. Good morning, Mike. How are you, buddy?
What is up, Johnny C? Good morning, South Florida audience. Happy show. I'm not going to give it away yet, but happy show.
Okay, no giving it away. That's fine. If you are streaming, it might have been given away by Ross Komarinetz. Of course, he is with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. Ross, how are you, buddy?
Happy anniversary, everybody.
We're not giving anything away, though. We're not going to give anything away. Happy anniversary, Ross.
It could be, Johnny, like I'm a personal advocate for the February New Year's. So you don't start your New Year's resolutions and all that stuff in January like everybody else. You wait till February and then you can start making.
Last week was Chinese New Year.
Oh, there we go.
You're the rabbit, is that right?
I think so.
Is it the rabbit this year?
I think it's the rabbit.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
What does the future hold for this year because of that?
Well, we're going to find out together is what we're going to do.
Oh, nice.
One day at a time, Mike, one day at a time. Ross, very festive. He did say happy anniversary. Let's say happy anniversary to Jimmy D. That's Jim DePola. I've told you for, about 11 years now that Jim DePola runs a top-producing Keller Williams team. That's the Keller Williams Innovations. You'll find the Florida Home Pros, and you'll find Jimmy D. That's Jim DePola. Jimmy D, how you be?
I'm doing great, guys. It's so great to be back. I don't think I've taken 2 weeks off on the show, and I think it's been 5 years. So I was really much needed. I went away for 2 weeks. I went on I guess you would call it a spiritual retreat, I guess. And then I went to the
old ayahuasca.
Yeah, I wish. And then I went to St. Augustine for 4 days, which was really a blast of the past. I've been going up to St. Augustine. I was thinking about it when I was up there since the 70s when my dad started me working on construction sites when I was in the 8th grade and working on beachfront condos in St. Augustine. So it was really nice childhood life to be working construction in the morning and then to live on the beachfront condos that we were building and hanging out there all summer at the beach in St. Augustine and going up there. I went up and looked at the 2 complexes my dad built up there, Quail Hollow and Four Winds, and now they're 50 years old, those complexes. So now when I was up there in the 1970s, it was one of the newest developments in the city. Now they're one of the oldest, at least on the beach. Not the oldest in the city. The city's 500 years old.
No, but Jim, you talked about in a previous show the 70s coming back. So now they're back in fashion. It's like the new style.
I got to tell you, I really loved St. Augustine. When I was up there, it was really a reminder of what older Florida is like, which is really nice. And talk about affordable over there. You can get a direct oceanfront condo, like 2-bedroom, 2-bath, maybe 3-bedroom if you find one that isn't too fixed up, but in very, very good condition, right on the water, looking out at the ocean every day, in the low to mid 4s, which is pretty amazing. They are very friendly to renting. So if you want to turn an Airbnb or rental, the condo is like, sure, no problem. Come on in, have a blast. And The other thing is that even direct oceanfront single family homes, most of them are wood frame I'm talking about, but you could have a 3-story house on the sand dunes overlooking the ocean for 1.5 million. And down here, you couldn't even do that on the intercoastal, let alone direct oceanfront. So it was pretty nice going up to St. Augustine and just checking it out. It was really fun.
I've never been up that way, Jim. So they have the 3-story homes. I'm thinking like Outer Banks style.
Yeah.
Right. Like those beach homes. That's what you see up there. Oh, cool.
Yep. You see a lot of that up there, especially in St. Augustine Beach and a little bit farther south. There's Butler Beach and Crescent Beach. Crescent Beach is where my dad built the condos out there. Really, really nice. You could still drive on the beach up there. I wasn't sure if you could do that anymore, but you're still allowed to drive your car on the beach up there like Daytona. That's kind of cool. And the food's gotten a lot better. One of the big problems I had with St. Augustine when I was growing up, everything was fried food. I'm like, you live in a fishing town and everything's fried this, fried that, fried this. Food was a little better this time. Let me see. And okay, I just wanted to let Jimothy know this because I didn't talk to him off air. There's probably going to be a bunch of people calling in to talk to us today, Jimothy. So just keep putting it through, and I'll keep looking at the private chats, and we'll try to get everybody in as they come through. So that'll be great. Why are people going to be calling today? Because this month is our 11th anniversary on WZZR 92.1 and 101.7. Can you believe it, guys? 11 years.
Pretty awesome.
It is kind of awesome, Johnny, because think about
more than 10.
Think about 92.1 right now. I mean, the Love Doctors, the Penthouse and the Locker Room have been around a long time. And I think we're ranked number 3 on that whole station as far as longevity on the show for being consistently on the station. I think we're number 3. Which is
I want to say Lex, because Lex and Terry had a few like ins and outs with Real Radio.
About that. Yeah,
I want to say they might have slipped in again right before Florida Talk Real Estate. They might have, but it's close.
Yeah, but all those things are professionally produced. They're backed by iHeartMedia. I'm just a guy jumping into his seat and hiring Johnny C to come and talk to us. So a little bit different.
Are you saying Jimothy's not a professional?
Huh?
Sorry about that,
hey.
So, boy, have we been blessed?
That's right.
Loosely based on one, right, Jimmy?
Yeah. Have we
loosely based.
We've been so blessed over these 11 years to have an audience that understands that, our mission is to help people. And we've been doing that for so long. And I was going through our email blasts, and if anybody wants to get onto our email blast, we give a lot of information off air. So if you want to do that, all you got to do is go to floridatalkrealestate.com. There's a million different ways to contact us there, and then just tell us that you want to be part of our email blast and our Facebook and YouTube blast. But I did a test run of this new system a couple of days ago. I sent out 500 emails basically telling people about our 11th year anniversary. Now, I have to tell you, not many people watched the video. I'm going to be honest about that. But out of 500 people we sent, 463 people opened up the email, which is pretty amazing. Usually anything above 30% open rate is good. We had a 99% open rate. 95% open rate. So our audience cares about us. If we put stuff out, it's usually valuable information. We just don't spam you with junk. Sometimes we try to give you a laugh. Sometimes we try to give you real information that you could use. I don't know how many times people over the years have told us that they took the information that we gave them over the air and then were able to better their lives with it. Hopefully some of the people today, you're going to hear their stories later on. But as we go through, we're going to talk a little bit about news today. We're going to talk about how your mortgage rates are going up and why. We're also going to talk about interest rates because I haven't, for the first time, and I don't know how long, Mike, I didn't check the 30-year interest rates every week. Every week, even if I'm not on the air, I check them. So I didn't check them for 3 weeks in a row. So when I opened it up today, it was kind of like, ooh, I wonder what's happening with the interest rates today.
You really were on vacation.
I really was on vacation. I didn't do stuff if I didn't have to. So the interest rates are actually news. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. And it's actually good news. It's not bad news. So that's a happy thing to talk about. And then I'm going to try to get with these 5 stories. So let me tell you the 5 stories I want to tell you on this anniversary show. I want to talk about the 2 feuding sisters that got to the closing table with us when they were selling a property, and they argued for a half hour in a scream fest over something. I'm going to tell you what it's about in a little bit, but you're not going to believe this one. And they sat there for a half hour. Mike knows this couple, and were arguing over something ridiculous for a half hour. My mouth just dropped. I couldn't even believe what I was hearing when it happened. We're going to talk about the guy that called us up on the show. I mean, the wife that called me in the middle of the night, kind of drunk, because her husband told her that in order to sell the house, the radio show guy for the real estate show said that they had to get a divorce.
Wow.
Which I thought was kind of funny. And then we're going to talk about Tom. I really hope Tom calls in today. He was going to call in when we were going to do our show. But Tom is going to talk about something that I didn't think was humanly possible. How his cat made him $200,000 on the sale of his property. So we're going to talk about that. Is that humanly possible? Yes, it's humanly possible because it happened. It happened live, and hopefully Tom is going to give us a call.
And you have to get that cat an Instagram page and just see if there's any more money left in that bucket. You know
I know exactly, right? And
I thought it was only possible with pigs, Jim. That's some pig.
And then we're also going to talk about Terry and Crystal's situation, which is he wanted to know when he called up. I guess we had been talking for about a year, but then he called me up and asked me this question. Does a dead body buried in your backyard affect the value of your home property? So we're going to talk about that today.
Wait, human body?
Well, we're going to find out in this story.
Okay,
Mike. Good question, though. It's a good question. So actually, that's 4. I do have a million other stories, but if we get to it, we're going to talk about the guy who looked like Santa Claus, who was so upset about the sale of his house that he decided to flood his home the day of closing in order to hope to stop his sale. So what he did is he flooded his own home, right? You got to love real estate. You never know what's going to happen day to day.
This is one of your clients?
Yeah, that happened way back in the day. And once in a while, I'll see him. I haven't played in a long time, but once in a while, he did not like me. That guy did not like me, and he looks just like Santa Claus. And I used to see him over at the Palm Beach Kennel Club when I used to play poker once in a while. And every time I used to play the Friday tournament, I'd see him there playing the Friday tournament. And he'd see me, and I'd look at him, give him a smile and a wave, big, bright smile, even though I didn't want to. I did it more to F you him. And he would just walk away with the harumph. And I'm like, that's not very Santa Clausy.
Is there a word like the equivalent of arson, but when you flood it?
That's true. Yeah. So I wonder if you know how sometimes firefighters become arsonists. You know that trend where the firefighter becomes the arsonist and he creates his own fires. There's actually like a psychological thing about that. I covered it a lot when I was a crime reporter. But I wonder if the same thing is for a plumber, right?
Or like the ShamWow guy or something.
Yeah, the ShamWow guy. That's good. I like that. Yeah, that they go and do their own thing, like destroy their own profession, if you will. So anyway, we got a lot to talk about this week. I'm really looking forward to it. And of course, we take your calls live on air. So if you have any questions at all, anything related to real estate, we are the one-stop real estate shop, right? What does that mean? That means we're not here just to sell you on our services. Hey, refi a house. Hey, buy a new house, sell a house, buy a business, sell a business, get homeowners insurance, get any type of insurance, title work, foreclosure defense, probate issues, all of that stuff. We are the one-stop real estate shop, and we're here to answer your questions, not sell you on trying to work with us exclusively. I don't know how many people we talk during the year that we give, hopefully, what they consider to be very valuable advice and don't end up using us. And Johnny, you've worked with us for a long time. You've seen that in live and real action. And we spend time on people that we know that we're probably not going to make a penny on, but we'll help them because it's the right thing to do. And we believe in building a community. And that's kind of what Real Radio has always been about. That's why I loved always being part of this station for the last 11 years.
Oh, yeah.
Was the community that this station, the community vibe that this station has. You don't get it with hardly anything else in South Florida. This is really a unique type of format that this station has created. And I really am proud that we've lasted so long and that we had carried on that tradition of Dr. Rich, actually, from a long time ago, which is the Love Doctors. And Dr. Rich has been on this station, Real Radio station, for, I think, 30 years or close to 30 years before he retired. And he really built a community around the station where people felt like if they needed help or advice, it was a place to go. It's almost like having an extra friend in a way. And that's what we've tried to keep going through this whole time. And that's why I'm so blessed to have Ross from Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. His philosophy is just like that. Mike, of course, from the mortgage firm is just like that. Trident Title over there, Glenda, with Trident Title, they're awesome at answering all our questions. We just had a couple from Canada that are selling their house. They have to deal with tax implications called FIRPTA. FIRPTA. No, I didn't just burp, but it's called FIRPTA. And there's a lot of questions involved in that. You're dealing with tens of thousands of dollars in tax implications. And, we have, thank God, we have the resources through the law office of Paola Krasker and Trident Title to get them the answers that they need so they can hopefully save money in the process of selling their condo.
Sure.
So,
or even reaching out to Jarrett Perry, right?
Yes, and Perry CPA Group, and
Yep.
Tons of stuff are going on with Jarrett right now. He's been so busy; he's been traveling around the country. I'm not going to get into it right now because I don't understand it all, and I don't want to misspeak. But we picked up 5 players that are going into the NFL draft.
Nice.
From the Renegade Sports and Entertainment company that Jarrett and I are co-owners of. Jarrett is the creator and founder of it. And I'm happy to be part of that. And it's pretty amazing what we're seeing. Plus, we have 2 basketball guys going into the draft. And we got Drago. If you want to check it out on Instagram, it's Drago Sounds. He's a hip-hop DJ, hip-hop player. Now, this is not performer, not player. This is a little out of my bailiwick because I'm not really into, although Drago's music is pretty cool. You should check it out. But it's
hip hop again, Jim.
Yeah, but I'm more into Led Zeppelin 70s stuff kind of thing. But Drago is a really special person, and he's traveling around the world. Jarrett just set up a European tour. He's in 30 cities or something in Europe right now. Nice. And he's now all of a sudden he's being picked up. He's been playing so much in Europe. He's getting a reputation. Now Japan wants to book him for like 5 concerts in Japan right now. So we're seeing him blow up. Rico Cash is another performer of ours. He's a rapper from Atlanta. He just dropped his album. He's doing really great. Like 4 people wanted, 4 record companies wanted to buy him out, if you will, and sign him. And he just, well, actually they wanted to buy into him where he was going to form his own record label under their companies. Jarrett is a smart guy. So he said, well, you could do that and sell equity in your company, or we could raise the money ourselves and you can keep all the equity. So that's what he's doing. So he's being the older Bo walking down the mountain. I'm not going to get into that story on the radio, but you got to
tell the whole thing, Jim. Yeah.
So Jarrett's like, hey, you don't have to go grab all that money they're offering you. How about that we just spend a little bit of money and then you get to keep all of it. So that's what he's doing right now. So a lot of really great things going on. Very blessed. So let's roll right into. Wait a second. Let me see here. Hold on.
Well, as we're holding on, there is an entry point if you want to be a part of the program, even if it's just a hey, been listening. Congratulations, y'all. It's real simple. Just dial up 877-927-6969. Jimothy will pick you up there. You make that call. We'll take that call. Of course, if it's questions, comments, concerns in the world of real estate, we do have the team assembled to take your call and give you the advice on the fly that you need. And if it's something they need to research and get back to you, well, believe me, That happens all the time. 877-927-6969. Now, if you're not comfortable on the radio, I do understand. You can always go to floridatalkrealestate.com. The one-stop real estate shop is floridatalkrealestate.com, also on Facebook and YouTube. But you'll see the hotline there. You can call it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 888-973-7828. Again, that's at floridatalkrealestate.com.
Thank you, Johnny. We've got Daryl on hold. Just keep him on hold for a second here, Jimothy, because I want to set it up. Daryl, I'm so glad Daryl called, because Daryl has worked with everybody in this show right now, plus more people from our one-stop real estate shop. And Daryl has been a special customer since, I think, 2013. And he's worked with us, believe it or not, since 2013. We started this show January 2012. So Daryl is a very very earlier listener to our show. And over the years, we've helped him and his family do a lot of things that they needed to get done. So he's a perfect example of what we mean by the one-stop real estate shop. So I'm just going to go over a couple of things with Daryl, then we're going to get him on air. Okay, so Daryl came to us in 2013. We were in a very bad economy at that time. His wife Amy had just lost her job. And he was very concerned that he wasn't going to be able to keep his mortgage payments going. And on top of it, he had 3 foster children he was in the process of adopting. And on top of it, his house was very upside down. I think it was, I'm making up numbers here because I don't want to get into personal situations with anybody on the air. But the ratios are about the same. The house was probably worth around $200,000. I'm using this as just for ratios. And he owed like $350,000. So he was like, 70% upside down or something like that. It was crazy town. It was going to take forever, it looked like, for him to be able to get the house right side up. So he couldn't sell it without coming to the table with more than $100,000, which of course, who has $100,000 just to give up to sell their house, right? So
and I think, Jim, if I remember properly, like 2012 was probably the very bottom as far as housing values. Like the real estate market was hit the valley floor at some point in 2012.
Yes, you're right. You're right. So he was in a really big jam, and so he was looking for a short sale at the time. A short sale is when you negotiate with the bank and say, hey, I'd love to sell my house because I'm behind on payments and I can't afford it, but I can't give you the $150,000 back that I'm upside down. So can you please work with me and take what the current value is today and then wipe away the debt? That's what's called a short sale, right? Walk away scot-free is what we used to say back in the day. And so when I started looking at his situation and then figured, because we care here and we tried to figure out where he was going to live after he sold the house, if we did a short sale, like where he could afford to move, the situation didn't look very good for him. So we felt it was better to try to save the house if we could. And that's exactly what we did. We got him over to the law office of Paola Krasker, which was working with short sale. No, we didn't do short sale. I'm sorry. We went over to the law office of Paola Krasker. Paul worked on a loan modification, got the loan modification. Thank God for that. They stayed in the house. Everything's going great. Along the way, they had a miracle baby, which is awesome.
Love it.
So now they had 4 kids. And then he calls me up and through the years, he did a refi. I think he did a refi with Mike. Then he did, no, he didn't do a refi with you, but he did a refi. And then
He did a refi.
And then,
so as things kind of settled in, he was positioning himself to kind of take advantage of the opportunities to get better and better positioned as things moved along, right?
Yep. And then I know he's used Ross for insurance in the past, from Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. And then what happened was in 2014, he heard us talking about student loan debt. And we're probably going to keep this as a separate story. But the student loan debt was pretty amazing because we have a way, even today, through the law office of Paola Krasker, to either wipe out or greatly reduce the amount of monthly payments that you're making. And whatever's left over by making these lesser payments can be forgiven through this student loan modification program that we've been talking about since 2013. And we've helped hundreds and hundreds of people on this show get student loan modifications. And Daryl's called up and said, hey, Amy has a major student loan debt. I think they were paying close to $600 a month. When she lost her job, we got her over the student loan modification program. Her payments, her obligated payments went from, let's say, $600 a month down to $0 a month. Yes, that's possible. She hasn't made a payment on that student loan debt since 2014 when she came to us. And all those years, they count towards the finishing of her loan. So I calculated it last night. Amy probably saved about $49,000 in student loan debt to this date, and it's going to continue clicking until she gets through the program. And the program, I think, Mike, is 15 years. I think you stay in this program for 50 because she's not a public worker.
So probably 20 years. Then.
20 years. I'm sorry. I think it's 10 years for public workers or 15 for public workers. I forget. But
I think it's 10, Jim. But yeah, all the teachers and people who work for the county out there, listen up. If you got student loans, you're still eligible. If you haven't started, there's no time like the present.
And it's free to find out what's going to happen. I mean, the program is awesome. It's awesome. So forget about that Joe Biden program right now that's trying to forgive the debt. There's so much mess with that and so much politics involved. You can get relief right now with the way the situation is right now. You don't have to worry about those feds telling you how to handle this or not how to handle it and deal with all that politics stuff. You could just call up right now, get help right now, that quick. You got to just go to floridatalkrealestate.com. So Amy saved $49,000. Amy and Daryl saved $49,000 over the years in that program. And then on top of it, Daryl called us up in 2019 and said, hey, my house is too small. I got to sell this thing and I got to get a bigger house. My kids are growing. We're just crawling up the walls I think they had a 3-bedroom house, but they had 4 kids, bunch of pets. They needed a larger home. So we helped them in 2019 move over to a different part of Royal Palm Beach, and they got a really nice 5-bedroom home. They've stayed there for about 2.5 years now. And then I get the call just a couple months ago where he said, hey, Jim, I really want to move to South Carolina to be closer to some relatives in South Carolina. It's time to sell my home. So that's the last thing we did. We did that on December 28th. We sold Daryl and Amy's home. They are now in a transition residence while Daryl takes care of some personal things before he's ready to move to South Carolina. We've already got him with an agent in South Carolina, Tony, who is already helping to look and kind of dabble around and look for properties that they might want to buy or rent when they move up to South Carolina. And that just proves the power of the one-stop real estate shop. Daryl's family has used almost every service that we offer and has had spectacular results throughout the years. So if you don't mind, Jimothy, I would love to get Daryl on the phone right now. And I know that we got Robert and Fred and Diana ready to come on. So just hold tight, but we're going to talk to Daryl first. Hey, Daryl.
877-927-6969. It does work. It is toll free. And if you're on hold, be patient. We're going to try to get through these phone calls. We start with Daryl. We just got a big kind of breakdown of the story. And let's say hi to Daryl. Welcome. You're on Florida Talk Real Estate. Daryl, how are you?
Hey, Daryl, did we lose you?
Hey, welcome, team.
Hey, Daryl, how are you doing, man?
No, can you hear?
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay. Yeah, thanks for the big intro. Yeah,
I know it's a long intro. I love Daryl. Daryl is very low key, real old Florida boy. Even though he's not really from Florida, he's from Arkansas, right? I think you were born in Arkansas. You said. Oh, we're losing you, Daryl.
Well, I'm from Florida. No,
oh, you are from
Florida.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were born in Arkansas for some reason. I don't know why. Your family's from Arkansas, right?
No.
I don't
Different
know.
Daryl, Jim. Different Daryl.
Yeah, maybe it's
That's his other brother, Daryl.
Yeah.
Which he has a story about that. We won't get into that today. But Daryl, so Daryl, let me ask you. The first time that you called us is because you're a big fan of Real Radio, right? Because you didn't know us from Adam. So you just called up because we were the guys from the radio show, right?
Yeah, I listen. I've been listening. The Love Doctors all the way back from the Gator days till they left, and I still listen on and off. But yeah, been a big fan of the whole show lineup and all.
Yep. And
Can you get me?
when you originally called us for help, that's a pretty tough situation because I've been in that situation, Daryl, personally. I had financial issues also. Did you have any trepidation to call us when you were calling us? What were you thinking in your head? Because I want to get into that a little bit, because I know there's a lot of people that listen to us. And then when I meet them, they're like, wow, you guys do exactly what you say you do on the radio. And I'm like, yeah. And that's what I would expect. But I'm surprised that people think that what we say on the radio is not what we do off air.
Right. I've even called in a few times whenever you had Paul Craftsman on and said, listen, you got to call. They can't call you. You got to call. They'll do it. Just don't hesitate. Don't be scared. They don't bite. And you guys, when I called you, that was back when you first started the show, and you actually talked to me from the show all the way back to your home in Fort Lauderdale when you lived down there.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
Yeah, we had like an hour-long chat.
Mm-hmm.
And everything was great. Yeah. And I just felt comfortable. And then you got everything. We never even met until we sold the house out in the acreage to move to Royal Palm. And we never seen each other. We always talked on the phone. It was always great conversations, got the right answers and the right phone numbers to call. And everything just always worked out. So, even with Mike, working with him, which I'm hoping, I heard that he do mortgages in Carolinas now, so I'm wanting to see if I can work with him on that.
It's going to have to be South Carolina at this point, Daryl. Can I?
But yeah, I've had insurance.
Is that going to influence your decision?
Yeah, he said it's the one. Well, I'm in South Carolina. That's where I'm looking.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm gonna reach out to you. I'm not sure what the timeline is on that, but we definitely got to connect for that.
And even when we sold Daryl's last home, the roof was a little older. So when we bought it, we knew the roof was older, and then when we sold it, it was even older, right? Because it was a couple of years later. Ross was a big help in making sure that we were able to get that deal closed by making sure that we had useful life and giving us advice on that. Daryl, can you hear us?
Yeah, I think there's a pretty good delay.
Yeah, there's a pretty good delay, Daryl. I really appreciate you giving us a call. We're going to have to move on because of the technical difficulty, but you've been an awesome customer. Can't wait to help you in South Carolina. We're going to continue the relationship. It's awesome. And thank you so much for giving us the support through all the years and calling in today, because I know you're a busy dad. So calling in today was a big deal. So thank you so much. I'm going to call you next week to make sure that I want to find out about that eye surgery you're going through and making sure you're okay. So I'll talk to you later, Daryl.
Awesome, Daryl. Thank you very much for having faith in the team for all these years and continuing to have your trust in Florida Talk Real Estate. That's a .com, your one-stop real estate shop. It's FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. And, Daryl's story there, they've used a bunch of the members of the team to get through some pretty rough times with their home. And now things are looking a lot better. And we'll be talking with Mike Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm, here real soon about their new home purchase in South Carolina. You want to try another phone call here, see how it goes with Fred?
Yes, let's go to Fred next. That'll be great.
Let's do it then. Fred, thanks for your patience. Welcome. You're on Florida Talk Real Estate. How are you this morning?
Hey, Fred, can you hear me?
I'm doing great. Good morning, everybody. Happy anniversary.
Thank you so much, Fred. Thank you so much.
Yes, I do.
Fred is a customer from last year.
I'm so glad you're on still 20 years. Great.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I stepped on you there, Fred. So we're going to take like a second between. Okay. Two things. We're going to take a break. After you say something, just hold tight, both of us on both sides, because there's a delay. But also, if you could put the phone a little closer to your face because it's kind of going in and out. So sorry about that. So let's try again. Fred, can you hear me?
There's a delay. There's a delay. I will try to work through that. Congratulations on your 20 years. I've only been listening for 10. I feel like the newbie on the block.
Well, we've only been on. I forgot about the delay. We've only been on for 11 years. You have to call back in 9 years for us to hit 20. So, but Fred. But Fred, so you you were one of our typical seller buyers, and when we talk about that, you had to sell a property in order to and use that proceeds from that property to buy your new home, which is always a very scary situation because you don't want to become homeless in the process. So how did the seller buyer process go for you with the Florida Talk Real Estate team?
With your expertise, it worked out very well. The timing of the sale and the purchase was perfect. You know, your entire team worked diligently on finding me the perfect house, which I found. And closing of the sale, timing was perfect. You said you wouldn't leave me out in the street. You came through with that promise. It was a great team. Everybody helped me.
Yeah, you didn't have to have a homeless sign sitting on the corner saying, "I need a place to live." Thank God. So if I'm not mistaken, I think you used Mike for the loan.
No, I did not use Mike for the loan. Mike was great. He helped me. He's the kind of businessman, straight up, where even though I didn't end up using him, he helped me every step along the way. I did use Brightway, the insurance company. Again, they lined me up, didn't leave me in the lurch. It was great. I felt comfortable with your team. It was like just having a group of friends.
Thank you, Fred. And I want to give a little promo to your daughter, Anna. Anna is a baker, and one of the stories I loved about selling his house in Lake Worth when we were selling the home, they turned their kitchen and basically most of their dining room into a bakery, a literal commercial bakery, which was legal. Everybody, I was so surprised that I'm sorry, I was reading something. I apologize. I was so surprised when I walked in because there was all this cooking equipment in the dining room and the kitchen was being used for a bakery. And I'm like, what the heck's going on with this? And apparently there's a state law that allows you to do that kind of stuff out of your house, even though that they were in a gated community. So Anna, who's in her 20s, this kid is just a dynamo. She bakes all this stuff out of her house, set up a website, and then had people come on Saturdays scheduled to come through the gate and come get their ordered goods, and then they leave. It was a really great system, and she was making a really nice living doing that. But now she's in Wellington in a storefront. So tell us about that, Fred. And we're going to put a link to her business on our Facebook page. So if you go to Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook, you're going to see a link there.
I got a quick story. So it's small world, Jim. So I remember Fred and Anna and yeah, Fred. I had the opportunity to work with Fred, but sometimes it behooves a borrower to shop around a little bit.
Yeah.
And, it ended up being, that he got a very, very good offer from another lender, and I don't have any problem with that whatsoever. Right? That's what the intelligent buyer is going to do sometimes. Just make sure they're getting the best of the world, best of what they can. But I'm in a business group, Jim, and one member of that business group is a baker also. She does cookies, and she knows Anna, right?
Huh.
So when I found out they were doing like an event together, and I was like, wait, Caroline, how do you know Anna? And she's like, we're friends. They're like, I don't know if they were friends before the business or there's synergy with it, but small world.
It is.
So is the company still called Anna Bakes?
Yep, it's Anna Bakes, and she's in with a coffee company called Candid Coffee. So it's Anna Bakes, Candid Coffee. and they are right on the out parcel area at the Wellington Mall near LA Fitness, I think it is out here. It's 10120 Forest Hill Boulevard, Suite 160, Candid Coffee and Anna Bakes. It's the first storefront, her first storefront operation, and of course, we're super proud. It's a gorgeous little shop. I mean, it's grand opening today, so it's a little crowded, but it's a beautiful place. She's done an incredible job.
I know that she's going to do awesome over there. It's over by that Kiki's restaurant, Keke restaurant over there, the diner, over in that Wellington Mall area. I'm sure, Mike, you've taken the kids and stuff and the family over there once in a while to eat over at that diner. Once in a while.
Absolutely. Great breakfast.
Yeah. So that's really congratulations to that proud papa.
It's great. Yeah, very proud. Savory, sweet coffee, cold and hot. I went through my whole operation of selling and buying went simultaneously with my divorce, so it was smooth. It was a scary time, and you guys made me feel very comfortable. So thank you for the show. The 11 years, I stand corrected, and just you're a great team. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Fred. I just want to leave off with this. I kept remembering when we were selling the house, and you were going through a divorce at the time, so that's always a rough situation. And we do specialize in divorce. There's a little knack you have to have when you're a realtor going through a divorce, selling a house for a divorcing couple. One of my standards is anything I tell one spouse, I have to tell the other. So if I have a conversation with one, I give a wrap up to the other one, so that neither side feels like I'm taking somebody's side. And communication is key, and being very direct and upfront, because usually in a divorce, people aren't always in agreement with decisions that need to be made. But Fred, what I wanted to talk mostly about is, as we were selling the house, what your concern was, you really wanted a different lifestyle. He was living in like the western part of the county and lived in a gated community in a couple, 2-story house with the pool. That kind of lifestyle. But what he really wanted, now that he was changing his life around, was to move to downtown Lake Worth, where he could walk to the dining and entertainment district and everything. He wanted a smaller home, kind of a cooler, older, Lake Worthy, older Florida home. How happy are you with the house that you got down there? Because you did move down there.
Yes, I did, and I am spectacularly happy. Scott worked with me, and we found a perfect little 1.5. And you're right, I'm in what they call Mangrove Grove. It's the old section of East Lake Worth Beach, east of Dixie Highway. A lot of really older homes. You guys found me a sweet gem in there. It's a newer home for the area, 1972. With your help and of course Scott, we made some offers, and I was accepted right away, and it couldn't have been a sweeter deal. Got exactly what I want, where I want it, and that was really helpful. Thanks to you.
Thank you so much, Fred. I know that you're going to be with your other daughter today, and I hope you have a really good weekend, and that I'll reach out to you next week, and we're going to go out for a beer. Okay.
I would love to do that. Look forward to seeing you then. I want to say thank you to everybody that helped me through that. It's just great. Again, happy anniversary. And I want to just last thing mention that this my direct involvement with your organization goes back when Johnny C had left the show and worked for you. He used to call me every other week, once a month, just to touch base, see how things were going, and those were the kind of things that I think were personal touches that really, really kept me with you. And it was beautiful. It worked well. Thank you for everything, and to everybody.
Thank you, Fred. And thank you for trusting us for all your important life decision needs. Selling a house and buying a house can't get more bigger than that almost. So thank you so much.
Fred, thank you very much, man. Appreciate you, and really happy that this is a wonderful success story. And I'm going to come through and get some of them cookies by the Wellington Mall and Anna Bakes.
Yeah, it's not too far from you, Johnny. You should
That's
stop
right.
by over there. The food's awesome. She's an awesome baker.
Love it.
Do you mind? I know Robert's on hold, and
here.
Robert, I hope you don't mind, but we're going to put you after Diane. If Diane's still on, I'd like to do her first because she's working today and Robert's retired. So, Robert, I'm going to have you hold a little bit because I wanted to talk to you about something else. But if Diane's on, I would love to talk to Diane.
Jimothy, is Diane still hanging in there with us?
Sure, yes. And now we have Diane on the air with us.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Diane, thanks for your patience.
Hello.
Welcome. You're on Florida
Happy
Talk Real Estate. How are you, Diane?
Hey, Diane, happy. Thank you so much. We're so happy that this is our 11th year. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm actually off today, so I was able to wait on hold. But I just wanted to call in and say thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome, Diana. Diane has worked with us on 2 deals so far. The first time is that we helped sell one of her relatives' properties when they needed to sell. But then Diane was looking, she owns, I'm sorry, could you tell me the name of your uniform store? She owns a uniform store up in the St. Lucie County area. It's called Uniform something, I forget.
We actually own 2 stores, one in Stewart and one in Port St. Lucie, which is the one we just moved, and it's called Daydreams Uniforms, and we do embroidery and all sorts of things for the community. But yeah, the Port St. Lucie store is the location you helped us find a new spot. We're now in 3,400 square feet from the 1,800 we were in. And I mean, I couldn't have done it without you guys. And I just want to say, I really am thankful.
Thank you so much, Diane. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Diane came to us. She's owned that business for a very long time. She needed to expand. When I found out that she was looking for stuff, a lot of people don't know that we also help with commercial deals. So I told her that we could probably help her. I got her with our team member, Julio. Julio went out there and really worked hard and was very creative from what I understand, because the way that you ended up getting that place, there was a little bit of negotiations involved because of the structure of the way the thing was structured and everything. Is that correct?
Yeah, the first place he found for us was actually, we thought would work, but was too small. And then he just happened upon the next location, which was in the same plaza, which was much bigger. And he was able to negotiate that before it even went on the market. So we got first dibs on that, and that was awesome.
That's awesome. Awesome. And it's called Daydream Uniform?
Daydreams Uniform.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Diane. Well, I'm going to be driving up there. I'm going to call you the next time I head up in that area because I'd like to stop by and take a look at the place. That would be awesome to see what you did. I know you had to do a little bit of reconstruction before you moved in, so I'm really looking forward to that. I wish you many, many, many years of happiness and, huge success in the expansion. And I hope that when you're ready to expand again, you'll think of us. And that your business just continues to grow and grow. So anybody needing any kind of uniform services or anything up in that area, you got to think of Diane, because Diane is like us. She treats customers the way that we treat our customers. And, it's nice supporting people that support this show. And you have like-minded people involved in everything. That's one of the things that I love. Like even Fred, he owns a pool company, Carlson Pools. Fred treats people the same way that we like treating people here at the One Stop Real Estate Shop. So Diane, I know it's your day off, and I know I really appreciate you taking the time to call in today. I hope you have an awesome day.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you to all your team members and Julio.
You're welcome. I gotta laugh, Johnny. I know there's a big delay. We're waiting like 3 seconds for the delay, and Johnny's got this face. It's like, this is not good radio. I can tell. And he's looking at it.
Hey,
but
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Trust me, in my almost 20 years on real radio, I had more than a handful of days where I had not great radio.
Well, when we try to do this, it's almost like it's jinx because we try to do the show on January 7th, which actually is the 11th year anniversary. And then we had technical difficulties at the station. So it's important that we're talking to these people because it shows the stuff we talk about on air, that we're real and that we're vulnerable and we tell you the way things are, not the way we want them to be. And that then you can use the advice because we believe that information is power and knowledge is power. So waiting a couple second delay for each of the person, we're just going to have to live with it until we get through the calls.
Well, it's just another dose of that real. Like, hey, there are some aspects of your big transaction of buying or selling a home that might get a little messy. The good news is if you're working with Florida Talk Real Estate, you got pros that know all these little hurdles and speed bumps and how to work around them. Jimothy, he knows how to kind of work through and massage working through the delay of the phone calls. And we're going to do our best too. It's called professionalism at its finest. And I'm going to do my best to be a professional today as well. Things happen and you work through them. And then the outcome is hopefully a beautiful thing. At the end of the day, we're going to say, hey, we just put on an amazing 2-hour infotainment fest for you on a Saturday as we celebrated 11 years of Florida Talk Real Estate. That is a .com, your one-stop real estate shop, floridatalkrealestate.com. I think Robert is hanging in there for us. Let's go ahead and say hi to Robert. Thanks for your patience. Robert, welcome. You're on Florida Talk Real Estate. How are you, Robert?
I'm doing
Robert.
well. Happy anniversary, Jim.
Gotta wait, Jim. Gotta wait.
Sorry, Robert. I just stepped on you because I thought you actually got disconnected. That was a long delay. So we have a delay. So after you hear me stop talking, just give it a second and then we'll go back and forth. Sorry about that.
He'll be all right.
So Robert, Robert came to us. He came to us a long time ago. He's a huge fan of the show, Johnny. So you got to talk to Robert a little bit. I'm going to let you ask a couple questions on this because he's such a huge fan. In fact, I was trying to do, as Robert was leaving, I was trying to get Johnny to actually do a special appearance, if you will, over Robert's house to say hello to Robert and Deborah because they've been such a huge fan.
Oh, totally. I remember you talking to me and I was like, yeah, I'll totally try to get by and say hi to Robert. Yes.
Yeah, we just couldn't work it out logistically, but he's a big fan of the Love Doctors and Real Radio, just a huge fan, big fan of Leah. And he called us like a year in advance almost and said, hey, I'm thinking about selling my house, but not right this second. Because he was building a new construction home up in central North Florida, and just wanted to know what's going on. So I went out and met with him. We went over everything. He had a gorgeous home. He kept the house in excellent condition, many upgrades. Told him that he wasn't going to have a problem selling the house at all, even if the market changed. Because at the time we were in a very hot market, and the market started cooling off when he decided to sell. And because the house was such on point with so many things, we knew we weren't going to have a problem selling the house at all. And that sale went through pretty smoothly. And then Robert bought a new construction home. So could you tell us about your experience of working with us, Robert?
The experience was wonderful. I mean, everything that you told us that would happen, Jim, it came to fruition. There were no problems at all. I couldn't say more. I mean, we were so excited how fast our house sold and how professional. Your team was right there. And again, Johnny, he was calling at the time. I'm sorry, I've got dogs barking in the background. But it was a wonderful experience. I would highly recommend your team, for anybody that's thinking of selling their property.
Did you feel like, Robert, that we were trying to pressure you at all? Because, you had met with us like a year earlier, and we did follow up with you constantly, but not too much, I think. I felt like we did it the right amount, like we weren't calling you every week. Are you ready to sell your house now? Are you ready to sell your house now? But we did stop and call you every 6 weeks or so.
and I did appreciate the calls. At least that it gave us the opportunity to update you as to what was going on. And the market was starting to change, but fortunately, how long we have it on the market? A day. And I think it was the second appointment that was the one that made an offer on the house.
Second appointment. What a slacker I am. I had to take 2 appointments in order to sell your house.
It was all Mac Daddy and everything. So, geez.
Yeah, Robert's house was super, super nice. Hey, Robert,
On the first day, on the first day of listing.
Yeah, and the couple that bought the house was just a perfect situation for them. Yeah, I'm sorry, Robert. Let me ask you this. Tell me where you're living now, and do you enjoy it up there?
Oh, we're in Daytona Beach. We live in a development. It's a Minto community called Latitude Margaritaville. It's a Jimmy Buffett themed community. It's beautiful here. We're very happy here. The access to everything. I'm 2 miles west of Bucky's, out by 95. So Bucky's is a place everybody's got to go check out if you're up here.
I just stopped by up there, Bob. I went to Hilton Head, South Carolina, for a week and a half or so, just recently. And you know what? Right in the community I was in Hilton Head, they have Latitudes Margaritaville there also. I was like, wow, I didn't even know that they had them in South Carolina. So that was kind of interesting. And I went to my Bucky's for the first time. And the only reason why I went, because I've never heard of that store before, is because of Ross.
And it's what 150 gas pumps. It's unreal.
Yeah.
When you go there, and it's no trucks.
Yeah. And Bob, I just wanted to wish you and Deborah happy 2023. I hope you enjoy your retirement. I hope you party as much as you want to party up there. I know that's a lot of fun to live in a community like that. I can imagine that you guys are going to be.
Right.
Okay.
It's not a retirement community, and not everybody's retired. I'm retired, but Deborah's still working. It's a 55 and older community. So, and everybody's very active here.
Yeah. And there's just so much to do. So, and you guys are great people. So I'm sure you've made a ton of friends already because they're just very personable people. So I just wish you so much fun and enjoyment up there in Daytona, and wishing you the best and hoping the dogs get acclimated to the new place.
They are slow. Like now that the construction's winding down around us, they're closing on all the homes around us now. They have been. I mean, they're a production builder here, so everything moves real fast. But it's a beautiful neighborhood. Anyways, I know we've got a big delay on the phone, and I want to wish you a happy anniversary. I've been listening to you since day one, and I've always been a fan of Real Radio. I'm still a Real Radio fan up here. I listen on the app, and also the local Real Radio out of Orlando I listen to.
Yeah, the 101.7. We're there. So that's awesome.
Nice. Well, Robert, thank you very much for taking the time to make the call. I'm glad everything worked out phenomenally. I did have many conversations with him building up to the sale of his home and as he was building up there at Margaritaville. So I'm glad it came together for you and your bride. Thank you for the phone call today, and best of luck up there at Margaritaville moving forward. Thank you very much for your time today. If you are on hold, I don't have your name yet, so make sure you get with Jimothy. If you're not on hold, we got an hour remaining, and if you'd like to be a part of the fest, you're welcome to do just that at 877-927-6969. Of course, if you're not comfortable on the radio, maybe talking about your experience with the Florida Talk Real Estate team, or maybe asking a question to the best of the best, your one-stop real estate shop, the team of Florida Talk Real Estate. Questions, comments, concerns in the world of real estate, just go to floridatalkrealestate.com. It is your one-stop real estate shop, and you have access to the entire team. These are pros. You get them all at floridatalkrealestate.com. On Facebook and YouTube, remember Florida Talk Real Estate. You got all kinds of information to be consumed. It's a hub of information. But floridatalkrealestate.com, that's your key. That is your one-stop real estate shop. Looks like we do have Robin on hold. Do you want to take Robin before we go into the break?
I think if Jimothy's okay with this, as long as the station's okay, we're not going to take a break. We're going to just keep plowing through today because of the phone calls, and I want to get through everything. So if everybody's okay, we're going to just keep plowing through. Is that all right?
Let's do it. Awesome. Mike needs coffee.
Keep plowing.
Mike needs coffee. Mike, you want to shut your cam down and go get some coffee real quick? Before we say
Can I do that? Is that going to bother you guys?
It's not going to bother us. It's not.
Hold on.
Mike, go get some coffee.
BRB.
All right.
Okay.
Mike Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm.
That's a first. That's a first in 11 years.
Somebody took a coffee break. I'm going to go make some coffee real quick. Robin is very important to us and has dialed in at 877-927-6969 and now joins us on a Saturday, Florida Talk Real Estate. Thank you for your patience, Robin. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Happy 11th anniversary.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Robin. How's Bruce doing? You and Bruce doing good?
Doing fine. Busy working.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know what I think, Robin? We helped Robin sell.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Robin. There's a little bit of a delay. So when you hear me stop talking, just give it like a second and then you start talking and then I have to stop for a little bit. Okay. So I just want to do a wrap up, Robin, and then I want to get back to you. So Robin and Bruce came to me because they also had to sell one of their relatives' properties when they passed. And it was a condo and it was in Broward and it wasn't in very good condition. And the thing I remember most about this unit is that there was wallpaper everywhere. And it was a very thick type of wallpaper. And it was going to be very difficult to remove. And the house looked very dated because of it. But we had to sell that property. And poor Bruce had already worked on the unit and it was pretty hard. He had taken some of the wallpaper off. And when you take the wallpaper off, it damages the walls. So you can't just like take the wallpaper off and paint it. It's just a big pain in the butt. And he didn't really want to do it because he's not a weekend warrior. Playing HGTV weekend warrior was not Bruce's thing, but they needed to sell the unit. So I decided to take a chance because I saw how much work was going to be involved in saying, take off all the wallpaper everywhere and let's see what happens. And I said, you know what? Don't do any more than what you've already done and let's just see what happens. And I think we got some pretty good results, right, Robin?
Yes, you did. We didn't have to take that wallpaper and you sold it in like 4 days.
4 days? You're making me worse now. I'm such a slacker. First I had 2 appointments. Now I sold a house in 4 days. Oh my God.
Terrible.
Ruined my track record. I'm joking. So when you first met with us, Robin, what were your biggest like questions you had about, am I going to hire these crazy radio guys that I hear on the radio?
I listened for quite a long time before I made the call to you. And I have a very good friend that's a real estate agent. And instead of going to her, I went to you. I've also used your insurance services, which I need again for the business. And I have complete confidence in your whole team.
Well, thank you, Robin. And I really appreciate that you trusted me with that sale. I know how important it was to you. When you have a couple of the people have called today already, were trying to sell properties from relatives who passed. And there's so much responsibility. And, people think, oh, great, free money. I'm going to go sell a unit and make some money off of it. But there's so much involved because you don't really know what's going on with the unit yourself because you never lived there. So, and then, trying to maximize the money, but you also don't want to put too much money into it because you know that you're just going to keep it for a short period of time. You're not sure where you should spend the money. If you are going to upgrade anything, where you should put the money. That's one of the biggest mistakes people make when they're selling a house, is where, if they are going to fix anything up, what they should fix up and what not. I really felt very proud, if you will, or accomplished that I made the decision to recommend that you don't do any more to the house than you had already done, because I felt like you weren't going to get money back for it, because the house needed to be kind of redone anyway. So just taking off the wallpaper to make it sell, people were going to have to do much more than just wallpaper in that unit. And I felt like if you put the money into it, you weren't going to make that much more money. And I wasn't sure if it wasn't worth the time or effort. So what we decided was, let's put it on the market as it is. Let's not do any more. We'll put it on the market as it is. And then if we feel like we're not getting the numbers we need, maybe I'll come back and ask you to do the fix up. I was a little nervous talking to you and making that advice, giving you that advice, because I really didn't know for sure what was going to happen, but it all worked out great. I hope you guys felt the same way.
We did, very much so. And I even learned something today listening to the conversations you've had, that you also do commercial real estate, which after the show or sometime after, you can call me because I need a new store.
That's awesome. We're going to help you do that. We just helped Diane, and we're going to talk about Hugo next in a second. We're going to talk about Hugo, who we just closed a real estate commercial deal with just a few months ago. So Robin, thank you so much for calling in. I'll call you on Monday to talk about the commercial stuff. Say hello to Bruce, and I hope you have a good weekend. I don't know if you're in Broward. I forget if you guys are in Broward or not, but it's kind of cloudy here, so I hope you stay dry this weekend.
Thank you very much. Yes, we live in Broward and our store is in Delray. So.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Tell me the name of the store before you hang up, because I always want to promote small businesses, especially from our audience. Are you on Atlantic Avenue, if I'm not mistaken? I think your store's on Atlantic Avenue, right?
Yes, it is. It's called Pa and Mahjong. We're a gaming store, and we also do Judaic items and knickknacks.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'll definitely give you a call Monday, and we'll see how we're going to be able to help you out in your next chapter of your life.
Great. Thank you so very much. And everybody have a great day. And again, happy anniversary.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Johnny, since we're talking a little bit about a commercial right now, I just want to give another commercial story. Hugo has called us on and off throughout almost 10 years, but we never did a deal together. He's sold a couple of properties based on my advice, but he was able to do it off market, and he felt that was better for him and his family. But we still kept in touch with each other. He's a small business owner. He owns Aztec Printing and Graphics up in Fort Pierce. And really sharp guy, really like him, so laid back. And so we've kept in touch over the years. And then he called me up one day to ask for advice. He found a restaurant in Fort Pierce. Now, this guy owns a graphics company, right? But he found a diner in Fort Pierce that's been around for 40 years. It's called Mickey's Diner. And it was up for sale. And he was like, I think I want to buy that diner. And I go, have you ever bought a diner before? And he's like, no. And I go, do you think you need anybody to help you buy the diner? And he was like, yeah, I guess so. Well, that launched us on a journey last year. And it was our first diner that I've ever helped somebody buy. It was kind of cool. And it was a family-owned business. And the thing is, this is what I love about this deal. The diner's doing great. It's cash flowing. People are still happy. He hasn't changed a thing. He keeps it Mickey's Diner. It's been working for 40 years. He doesn't want to change the business model because he's a smart businessman. So if you ever want a nice breakfast, a nice country breakfast, go up to Mickey's Diner on US 1 in Fort Pierce. But what's really great about this is the lot. The lot is right on US 1, and it's a big lot and has 2 small houses on it that's already being rented out. Those houses need to be torn down eventually. They're they're not in the best shape. But
Is it a little elevated on the west side of US 1? Is it a little elevated above US 1? Am I picking the right spot?
It is.
Okay.
And what you'd be surprised about is behind that restaurant is a huge tract of land that's connected to, that's part of this property. So we got Hugo over to one of our commercial guys. Remember I told you that Julio helped Diane? Well, I joined forces with David, who is not with Keller Williams. Julio's with Keller Williams, but David is with Doug Ellerman. And I felt David would be the smartest guy to help Hugo with this situation because he's very smart about alternative uses for properties. So we started mapping out all the things he could do with this property later if he doesn't want to keep the restaurant and he wants to turn it into a different type of commercial property. He could turn it into storage units and build storage center there. He could build apartment complexes there, right? He could build condos there if he wanted to, right? He could turn it into a place where I don't even know the proper terms, where like you leave your like trailers and mobile homes, like a parking service, a storage, but not like storage for things, more for like vehicles and stuff like that. You could do that with it. There's just so many potential uses, right? So he bought the restaurant and he's very happy with the profits that the restaurant is making right now. He wasn't even counting on that. He was just hoping if the restaurant kind of breaks me even, I'll be okay. But he's doing very nicely with that. And one of the things I really think that Hugo is so sharp about, he kept everybody from that restaurant because they've been around for so long that he was like, I want to keep everybody. So he made sure that everybody was really happy and he's kept most of the people. Now, he was supposed to come on January 7th. I know that he's out in Texas right now. That's why I'm talking about this commercial story without him. But he actually at the time was looking for short order cooks. So if anybody needs a job and they have experience as a short order cook, give us a call at floridatalkrealestate.com and I'll hook you up with Hugo. Or you could just stop by Mickey's Diner in Fort Pierce and say, hey, that crazy radio show guy, the real estate guy from the radio show told me to call because I understand you need a short order cook. So go over there and see if you can get a new opportunity for yourself. And Hugo I'm sure would be a great employer to have. The fact that he kept all the people from the restaurant, I think is a big thing. It shows that he's a smart businessman. He cares about his employees. What
exactly makes a cook a short order cook?
I think it's because that they're only cooking a certain amount of things and they have to do it very fast. Right? So you're not making bouillabaisse, so you're not making like big fancy elaborate meals. You're just going in there and knocking it out
all right.
over and over again. That's what I think.
There it is. Yeah, well, you definitely got to have some pace to you for sure if you're in the kitchen. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you what, at 10:30, we are going to take a break and I'm going to tell you why. We're going to do something really interesting. So anybody on YouTube or Facebook that are watching us live, what you're going to see during that break is a recap. Johnny doesn't even know I did this yet. So Johnny, I'm telling you right now, so I hope you're okay with it. But I created a montage video thanks to Cam, who is my media guy right now, which is awesome, Cam Johnson. But Johnny, do you remember back in the day in 2013, it was the last year of the Love Doctor charities, right? And we were trying to raise money for the Love Doctors. Now, in this video, it was so long ago, I didn't realize it, but we raised $9,000 for the Love Doctor charities. The way it worked was we were asking people, back then we were called Talk Real Estate with Rob and Jim. It was one of our incarnations that we've had over the years. But we started out with Talk Real Estate with Rob and Jim with my former business partner, Rob, who now is retired and traveling around in a Winnebago somewhere, going all over the country. God bless him.
Living the life.
I know I'm pretty happy for him. And we decided that we wanted to help out the Love Doctor charities because I was a big fan of the Love Doctors. And I was like, I can't believe I'm on this show. on this station. So what the deal was, we wanted to raise 1,500 likes on our Facebook page. And the deal was anybody that liked our Facebook page, the team, including Paul Krasker, I think, Ross, I think you contributed to this, if I'm not mistaken, but Paul Krasker, you, me and Rob, and I think it was Trident Title, we're going to give $4 for every like that we got up to, I guess it was $6,000, 1,500 likes, right? And but then Paul threw a monkey wrench in the whole thing. Paul Krasker from the Law with Paul Krasker, he said, I'll do it. I'll support the charity, but you got to hit the 1,500 likes by a certain date. And if we didn't hit that, he wasn't going to pay anything. So it was either all or nothing. So he put a little tension to the thing. And we were 1 week away or 2 weeks away. And we were like 300 short. And I didn't think we were going to make it. And I really wanted that money for the charity. So what I did was I drove over to the station in Port St. Lucie, where everybody recorded back then. And I went to Port St. Lucie. And I remember walking into the building. And while I was getting out of my car and getting into the building, so was Leah. Leah was getting there to do her show, and she was walking in, and she saw me, and I had my little flip phone, because back then you didn't have it on your iPhone. You had the little flip phone things.
Yeah,
right?
for those that don't know who Leah is or was, she was at the time on the Love Doctors show, right? Leah was part of Nights on Real Radio, kind of been around the radio station. Been a few years since she's been with us, but she at the time was on the Love Doctors program.
Thank you, Johnny. And then what happened is she looked at me and she goes, "Can I help you?" Like kind of huffy, right? And I said, "Yeah, I'm Jim from Talk Real Estate with Rob and Jim. I'm coming over today to film all you guys so that you could do a promo for the charity so we can raise the money for the charity." Well, she didn't like that too much at all. And she was like, "I'm not dressed appropriately for this. I can't believe you didn't call us in advance," because that's the way I do things. I do things on the spur of the moment. And she said, "No, I'm not going to participate in this." And I'm like, "Okay, well, you don't have to. I don't care." But the thing that was driving me crazy was she was in charge of raising the money for the charity. And I'm like, "I'm doing this for free, and I'm trying to help you guys out. And now you're giving me grief about this." But then what we did is we got in studio, and I asked Dr. Rich, Dr. Glenn, Dano, and Johnny C at the time to do a little recap for our Facebook video, asking people to contribute to the charity by liking our page. And
what year was this?
This is 2013, Johnny. And it was around June 2013.
Oh, so I look like I ate Johnny C, probably.
well, it was so funny. I stumbled upon these videos just recently, right? I was like, holy moly, I can't believe I still have these videos. And I have all the raw footage.
So there's audio too, right? Obviously,
it's
right?
Audio, yeah.
We don't have to go to break to play it. Everyone on the radio is going to be able to hear it.
Oh,
it's
great.
a good opportunity to visit us. We can give a few moments to get over to Facebook so you can watch it happen. But if it's got audio, we can play it. We don't have to do it during the break.
That's what we're going to do in just a second, Cam. So get ready. Cam's going to turn it on for us. He's behind the scenes for us. But the video he put together, I think I've seen this video once before. And what happened is the way that the video came out, I'm going to have to reconstruct it because it's almost too professional. Cam did too good of a job. I wanted it to be more like a blooper reel.
It's too good for real radio.
Oh, let me tell you, I have 5 videos. Eventually, there's going to be 5 videos on this, okay? So you want to check them all out because the first video is me talking about what happened. The second video is Dano. The third video is Dr. Glenn. The fourth video is Dr. Rich. And then we end up with Johnny C at the end, right? And I asked people throughout the video, rate how they did trying to nail this. And I got to tell you, some of the people, I'm not going to give it all away. Some of the people did multiple takes and couldn't get it right. And some people just nailed it the first time. Now, I guess you can guess who probably out of the 4 people, I could tell you 2 people nailed it and 2 people did not. And the people that did not are funny. It makes me laugh really hard. And let me tell you, Dano's facial expressions when he's trying to do this is hilarious. Just the facial expressions alone. So we're going to listen to it on radio right now, but we're also going to see it hopefully on YouTube and Facebook Live. But this isn't the real video. There'll be another 5-part video series in our Florida Talk Real Estate Facebook page and maybe YouTube. So please like our Facebook page, like our YouTube page, so that when we put stuff out there, you can kind of keep up what's going on. So Cam, do you think that you could go ahead and turn this thing on for us?
For grabs. Hey, how's it going, guys? Just wanted you to know that if you love the Love Doctors, you're going to love Talk Real Estate with Rob and Jim every Saturday morning at 9.
You're going to get $3,000 from the Paula Krasker Law Firm if we can get the 1,500 likes by June 30th.
If you like our Facebook page, we are going to get some serious donations to Love Doctors charity, so do your part and help us out.
We need 3,000 likes. Come on, do your part for the kids.
You never know what kind of help we're going to try to provide people or what to expect when it happens. But one thing you can expect is that we're always going to give you the real deal, and we're always going to tell you what your best interest, not ours. And we'd love to have you come out Saturday to check out the show. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Thank you, Cam. So
there were no bloopers.
I know there weren't any bloopers. That's why I said, I didn't want to run that on Facebook or YouTube because it looks like we're trying to raise money for the charity because they took all the bloopers out. So now it looks like I'm asking to raise money for the charity. And unfortunately, there is no charity. I wish the Love Doctor Charities was still around. I'd be supporting it to this day. So
I don't know if this is good or bad, Jim, but you haven't aged a bit.
Mike's saying that because the only video of me is from 2023. So that's true. My hair is still the same and everything. So, so Cam is saying that the bloopers were too crazy and uncomfortable to air, but he doesn't understand our audience. That's exactly what they want. So, so anyway, it'll be fun to go back and reminisce. So go back to our Florida Talk Real Estate page. You know, all you got to do is subscribe and like us. And then you'll be notified when those come out. They're going to be coming out soon. I'm even going to try to put them on that Real Radio Fans of the Love Doctors that's been around. You know, that Facebook page. It isn't being used very much, but I'm going to throw it out there too because there's a lot of old school Love Doctor fans on that page, and I'm going to send it out there too. I wanted to talk just a little bit. One of the stories I wanted to get into was well, before we do that, let's talk a little bit about news for a little bit. So let's go into insurance first. I read an article, Ross, when I was out of town, and I thought it was very interesting because the headline was, hold on here. Oh, did I lose it? Don't tell me I lost all my notes. That would be bad. Okay, no, I didn't.
I got some mail last week that I think a lot of folks are either gonna get or have gone through in the last probably 6, 8, maybe a year, 6, 8 months, maybe a year, is that letter saying, hey, you're short on your escrow account.
That's exactly what we're going to talk about.
Up by damn $2,000. So here's your shortage. And if you pay this by this day, here's your new mortgage payment. And if you don't, here's your new mortgage payment. You're all, do I have $2,500 to throw at these people? Or do I take a $300 a month increase to my mortgage payment? What to do?
Are you mind reading me? My mouth is dropping right now because that's exactly what we're going to talk about right now. It's the escrow changes. There was an article in the Sun Sentinel on January 15th that says, shocked by how high your monthly mortgage payment went up? Here's why it jumped. And what's happening is that tons of people are getting notices in the mail that their mortgage payment's going up because the amount of escrow that they have in their account is not enough to cover the new insurance payment because of rate increases. Johnny, did that actually happen to you?
Yeah, like I said, just 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
and
I think this is probably hitting a lot of folks right in the sweet spot. They're like,
How much money did you say a month if you don't pay it up front? How much did you say a month it would go up?
Ours is going up just over $300 a month.
The average in the state of Florida right now, Ross, according to the Sun Sentinel, is an average increase of $323 a month to make up the escrow payment. So, Johnny, you're an everyman in this situation.
And I wasn't one of the ones that, when I had my change in insurance, I actually, my change came pretty early in my policy. So I got a substantial amount of money back from my old policy. And that went straight into escrow. I wasn't one that was like, ooh, free money. No, we were responsible with it right into escrow. And we're still coming up that short.
Yeah. So, Ross, you must be seeing this a lot right now, right?
Well, I mean, we've been dealing with people calling in about huge rate increases for the past 3 years, so it's kind of like an everyday thing for us. But unfortunately, most of the time, that's the rate, and we do our best to see what we can do to lower it or get them a new carrier. But unfortunately, that's just kind of the environment right now. Huge rate increases across the board.
And no relief in sight either. It's going to be a while.
Yeah, at least a couple of years.
Yep.
It's going to be at least a couple of years. And the reason why is the changes that the legislature made in order to try to help control these abuses to the insurance claims and things. It's going to take a couple of years for all that to shake out and find out if it worked or not, and then to what degree it worked. And then they'll decide if they're going to start reducing homeowners insurance policies. Now, we went through that cycle once before on the show because we've been around for 11 years. So there was a period, about 2 years, for a 2-year period where this show was helping tons of people through Ross, Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach, by reducing their mortgage payments because we were getting reprieves on insurance costs for a while. So we could go back to Ross and say, hey, you're paying, $4,200 a year. You might be able to pay $2,800 a year with the same coverage. Come talk to us. And we were helping people get huge reductions on their mortgage payment because their insurance payment was less. But now we're in a different cycle. The cycle now is where the payments are going up because of insurance. So you still need that, having somebody like Ross in your Rolodex. I'm sounding old. Having Ross in your Rolodex is really important to have so that you can find out, am I getting the best deal I can get right now in a bad situation? Because it really isn't good for very much anybody right now, except for new construction homeowners.
And holy cow, it's almost more important now that you check up on your insurance because, you're not going to get the savings. You're not going to go find a policy that's a lot less. But if you do nothing, the increase will shock you, right, Ross? I mean, you might get a shocking increase no matter what. But if you just let it renew and you don't even look at it, chances are you're going to get that huge. Like Johnny, you had a big jump in your payment, right? Because your insurance premiums went up. Had you not gotten canceled, had you just let it renew at whatever number they threw at you, it probably would have been even worse.
So I had a really sweetheart, and Ross told me the whole time, like, this, you are rolling the dice with this company. But my note was low enough to where I was like, come on, baby, don't crap out. And it worked well when it did. But when they dissolved, they got blown up. We had no choice. We were pitched, we were forced into like one decision only, and I'm like 700 short of doubling.
Wow.
Yeah. So but we had a ridiculously low nut for our property insurance, and we were rolling the dice with it. We were very lucky, very, very lucky. So I'm kind of back into probably closer to normal range, even though I'm now way inflated, but it is a big jump.
I would like to talk, Ross, very quickly about roofs. I'm going to talk about it in more detail next week, and I don't know if you're going to be on the show next week, so I'm going to talk to you on it briefly right now. If you want to be on the show, you're always welcome, but in case you can't make it, I've been dealing with a lot of roof issues lately, and I've been turning to Ross for excellent advice. It's so nice having Ross, having our customers back, dealing with this. So I have 2 examples of this, but the most recent example is the houses are almost exactly the same. Is I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments. So we had a couple that's selling their house, but the roof was 19 years old. It's dimensional shingle, composite shingle, and it's 19 years old. And when they went for the inspection on the house, the buyers, I'm the listing agent, we talked about it before we put the house on the market that the roof might be an issue. And it was 19 years old. And of course, I get the comments that everybody gets. My roof's good for 30 years, right? Because it's dimensional shingle. That's the first thing they say. And I go, yes, I know your manufacturer warranty is 30 years, but that is not what insurance companies care about. So just forget about that part. The second thing is that, and then I explain about useful life. So Ross, can you just give us the quick hit description of what useful life means and what you need to get in order to get citizens insurance?
So citizens they'll accept pretty much any age of roof as long as it has 3 years of useful life. Now, they just came out with a new rule at the beginning of the year that says if you can't find, if there's no permit to, back up that age of roof, then you actually have to submit it to citizens unbound and have the underwriters look at the overall file and then approve it or deny it. So it's become a little bit more tricky than it was, a month ago, where we could just say, look at the 4-point inspection, and the 4-point inspection says the roof is, and it doesn't even matter any age really. If there's no permit information that the inspector finds, then you have to submit it to citizens unbound and they have to look at it.
That's so interesting because I never heard of this situation before of what we're going through with this couple. Now that makes sense because this is a month old. Okay, that's why I didn't understand what was going on. So what happened was while I was out of town, we were trying to deal with this roof. So this is what happened. The buyer that was buying the house is an investor, but he was buying it for a relative to live in. So when they came back with the inspection report, now you got to remember when I looked at the roof, now I'm not an inspector, but when I looked at the roof, roof looked tight. It didn't look like a major loss of granulation. It didn't look, there were only 2 little pieces of tile that were missing, and they were the top caps at the top of the roof. So not easy, really easy repair. Nothing looked curling. Like the shingles didn't look like they were curling or shrinking. And I didn't even see fascia that was rotted. The roof looked tight to me, right? We're in very good condition. There wasn't a lot hanging over the roof, like trees scratching the roof or branches or anything like that. So I'm thinking, hey, this roof's looking okay to me. But when the inspection came back, the buyer said that the inspector said that they couldn't determine the useful life of the roof and didn't give it any number.
But but the inspector is supposed to, that's his job.
I agree with you, Ross. So I told the sellers, I go, this doesn't sound right to me. I feel like they're pulling a fast one on you to try to get a new roof out of this deal. So I said, what I really think you should do is go spend some money and get your own useful life. And I know that a useful life report, however, this report may not be able to be used as part of the deal, but it'll at least give us a litmus test to figure out where we're at with this roof. And so we got Ross gave us a great company. The people went out there and we got 6 years useful life of roof left on the report. Now that's enough in order to get insurance. And I was like, I just saved that family $15,000, right? And I was like, awesome, I did great. But then they called me back while I was on vacation, and Ross explained because there was no record of any permit being pulled on that roof from being built 19 years ago, that they would have to go through like an appeal process, or what Ross just described, which was to go have an unbound, what did you call it? Unbound.
You just submit normally when you're going through and you submit an application, as soon as you hit submit on the insurance part of it, it binds and you get a binder and proof of insurance, an application, all of that. But in this scenario, if there's no permit, then you have to submit it, and it's not bound until the underwriter takes a look at it and says yay or nay.
So what happened is that the other thing we asked the family to do is go find a roofing contractor to give us a legitimate roofing replacement quote, which we did. And we're in the process of negotiating on that right now. But these are really big issues that are happening right now. I have another couple that I'm going to be putting. I just took their listing on Thursday. I came back into town at 1:30, and by 5:30, I'm at a listing appointment. And we're going to be selling a really nice, by the way, 3-bedroom, 2-bath pool home in Royal Palm Beach in La Mancha in the mid-5s. Excellent house, impact windows, super upgraded, nice big house, great backyard. So anybody looking for a 3-2 in Royal Palm, cinder block home, give us a call. But the roof is 19 years old. And the roof, again, looks in excellent condition. The difference between these two houses, because they both have 19-year-old roofs, the first couple I talked about went ahead and replaced that roof 19 years ago, but they didn't pull a permit.
But do they have receipts or?
I'm going to ask them
like
on
that?
Monday.
Because we can use that.
Yeah, I'm going to ask them on Monday, but I don't think so. I think that's the problem. But they were trying to. I asked them, why didn't you pull a permit when you replaced the roof? And they said they were trying to save money. That's a big mistake. Don't do that, guys, especially in today's market. If you're putting on a roof, pay for the inspection. It gives you more value if you ever have to sell the house, and also it helps document what's needed to get the best insurance policy possible. Saving I don't even know what a roofing permit is now, but when I used to flip homes, it can't be more than $200.
Well, I'm kind of confused. Well, doesn't the roofer pull the permit?
Well, I think the saving money is that you hire a roofer who doesn't pull permits. That's how you save money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because I'm like, who pulls their own permits when you're hiring a roofer? The roofer does the permits.
Yeah, but the roof will say, I'll do it for this if we don't have to pull the permits. And to me, that's ridiculous because the roofing inspection is so simple, right? They usually don't even come out for the second inspection. There's a rough inspection when they put the nails down for the sheathing, and then the tin tabs for the felt, if that's used in the construction. That's the first inspection. The second inspection is the final. And a lot of times the final, all you got to do is take a picture and give it to the inspector, and then they sign off because they inspected everything underneath, right? So saving the money by not pulling the inspection, it just doesn't even seem to make any sense to me. It's not any really value add there. And
you want to make sure it's done correctly too, because the roofer could just be, half-assing it to.
Yeah, my favorite line is, "Hey, I'm licensed and insured. I got a driver's license and car insurance, and I'm licensed and insured." Right? So yeah,
Wait, can you do that?
You could do it. I don't know if it's right or not, but so you have to be really careful with roofs in this market, and having somebody like Ross, backing you with the advice. I don't know how many times they go to Ross for free advice, and him and Rodolfo and everybody else on his team. They're just awesome at giving the advice that we need when we need it. Very responsive. So if you're a realtor out there and you're like, I need a good insurance guy or I need a good mortgage guy, this isn't just my team I created. This is a team that I created for you guys too. Other realtors can use our team, and you don't have, except for the realtor part, you're a realtor, you do your own thing. But if you need a good insurance guy, you need a good mortgage guy, you need a good lawyer, you need a good title company, you can use the team that I've created, and you'll get the same results. You're going to get the same results as I get because.
Yeah, and here's a little secret, a tip for all the real estate agents out there. You do need a team like that.
Yeah, you really, especially in today's market with everything changing. Who knew about this no permit thing that changed its useful life? That just changed it over the last month or so. So you got to keep up with the times and keep going. I want to switch gears here, Johnny, because we're kind of running out of time, and we've had Tom on hold for quite a while. So I want to put Tom on the air if you don't mind.
We have a Tom on hold?
Mm-hmm.
Do we? Okay. Tom, thank you very much for your patience. Welcome. You're on
Giovanni.
Florida Talk Real Estate. How are you?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, do you prefer
Happy
me calling
anniversary
you?
to all you guys.
Hey, Giovanni. We have a little delay, so I'm going to kind of prompt you when to talk. But do you prefer to be called Giovanni on the air? Is that what you prefer?
Whatever you prefer, my friend. We've been friends for way too long. It's your choice.
I don't know if we went to middle school together or not. Giovanni and I think, went to middle school. We definitely went to high school together. That's for sure. But I've known Giovanni that long, and his family.
Yeah, we did go to middle school.
Middle school. It was Bear Middle School down in Sunrise, Florida. We went to middle school together, and I just turned 60, so that just shows how long.
Yeah, I was going to say, was that like an old one-room schoolhouse type of deal?
That's why I went back to St. Augustine. I had to go back to my school, the oldest schoolhouse in Florida. I mean, in the United States. I had to go there and go check it out. Tom, I've known Tom forever, and he called me up, and his family was living in a different state, and they were in a really tough jam because they were having very, very serious health issues, and they needed to move back to Florida because they couldn't take the cold and the steep inclines. And their situation was kind of tough financially. and they really were looking for a rental, but we ended up helping them buy a home down in Tamarack in a 55 and over community because we felt that there would be better value doing that in the long run, and also protecting them from the vagaries of the rental market. What I was really afraid of, because they're on a fixed income, that if we did get them into a rental, what was going to happen the next year or the year after that, and worrying about the interest, the rental rates going up past their budget. But if they were to buy a home, they could lock in their mortgage rate and then have more of a set, controllable housing cost. And we did it sight unseen. We helped them buy that house, and they never saw it till the day they moved their moving truck in to move into the property. Is that right, Giovanni?
That is correct, Jim. That is correct. Everything was all done on Zoom. Everything was done over the phone. And everything was done with the patience of all you that I'm looking at right now, because I'm actually looking at you guys. And Mike Rauch, I will tell you, patience of a saint.
Well, when we were dealing with older people, we all know how that is when you're dealing with people in their 80s, and with health issues. So real serious stuff. And I think you used Ross, if I'm not mistaken, for the insurance. Is that correct?
I was going to go to Ross, yes. Ross actually had to deal with them on a couple of occasions as well. And we went through Ross, and Ross's team was excellent. All you guys were really good. I can't thank you enough. I can't speak highly enough about you guys. I will tell you that I was put into a situation that nobody really likes when your parents get older. And I was blessed and fortunate enough to actually have the relationships that I have had down here and keep those relationships. And so I turned to Jimmy, and I call him Jimmy because I've known him for years and I don't care. But anyway, I turned to Jimmy because we've been talking all the time, even before I left to go help them in Georgia. And I said, hey, look, you don't know what I'm walking into, but I might need you down the road. And sure enough, when that call came in, Jim was there. And he hooked me up with the team. They went to work right away. They went to find the best option. And they looked out after my parents, and my parents are old. They didn't understand the process for iota. They had no clue of even a real nightmare. And, there were times where I would call Jim, or I would call Mike, especially. Ross, I didn't deal with you too much because you were towards the back end of the transaction. But you actually, you came into play, and you were just like Jimmy and Michael. Okay, Mike, sorry. And when everything went down, it was just like all the pieces just started to fall into play, one right after another. And so I'm so grateful.
That's awesome. And
let's not forget that Tom's father was a military veteran as well. So we were able to do the first time in his life, he used his VA loan benefits. And it really, it was just a great story all the way around. And yes, sometimes there's frustrations through this process, Jim, even with the sharpest of buyers and sellers. There's sometimes frustrations, and you have to have a level of trust with your professionals. And luckily you guys had the personal relationship, but we kind of developed that style of relationship with all our clients at some level where they have to trust us. And that's what we're about, right? Like being trustworthy sources of information and getting the job done and making it as smooth as possible. It's never pain-free, but we try to make it as painless as we can, And what a great story. What a great story.
Yeah. And I haven't done a sight unseen purchase for somebody in a little bit of time. It's been a while since I actually had to be the eyes and ears on the ground, have them negotiate a deal, get into contract, never see the property. That's always a little stressful on my end because a lot of stuff is riding on my shoulders. And one of the things I kept looking at, thank God that I know how to flip homes and everything. One of the things I kept looking at all the places that we were looking at, Tom's mother was in a wheelchair, or was it the mom was in a wheelchair, and we had to make sure that we could get a bathroom where we were going to be able to break out a wall so that the wheelchair would be easily to fit in, because a lot of the places we were looking at, the wheelchair wasn't going to fit. So we found one, and when I found this one unit, it was super clean. It had the right kind of layout. It was in a good part of the neighborhood. It was affordable, but also, and I think it had a newer roof and stuff. And the other thing is that this one wall in the master bedroom I knew could be broken out very easily in order to fit the wheelchair. So that's what kind of landed me as to say, look, this is the house. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we went through one or two houses that we turned down in the end. Is that right, Tom or Giovanni?
Well, yeah. So, yeah, Jimmy, you're right on that. The one house, when we went for inspection, it was it had $60,000 worth of repairs. There were termites everywhere. The roof was separating. I don't recall the gentleman who did our inspection, but they pulled out the refrigerator. There were termites. I think it blew your mind. And within 2 hours, though, or 3 hours, your team actually had another property. You recall you were on the turnpike heading back up north, and you turned around and went back and looked at that house that came into play because one of your team members found it online, and you called me right back, and you were like, I think we have one. And I was like, what are you talking about? So that's how all that materialized, because that first deal went bye-bye real fast.
I forgot about that, Giovanni. It's so true. When we went through that inspection, it was so bad. That inspection, I haven't had an inspection that bad in so long. And knowing that the family was on a fixed income, I was like, you can't buy this house. Even though that I got them into contract on it, after we saw the inspection, I was like, you cannot buy this house. I hate to say this, but don't buy it. Please don't buy it. And then hours later, Natalie, who was on my team at the time, Natalie called me up and said, I think we found another house. And I was on the turnpike, and I remember turning around because we had to get something right away, and turned around. And, because God blesses people that need help. I looked at the house and go, this is the perfect house for that. I kept walking around and go, I can't believe this. I went from, oh my God, I can't believe that I put them in a contract in a bad house, to this is the perfect house for them. So, everything works out at the end. And Giovanni, you're a good son. You went through a lot. There was a lot on your shoulders. You performed for your family very, very well. And you should feel very proud of yourself that you were able to do what you did for them at the time that they needed it.
Well, Jim, I appreciate those words. And you've known what's transpired since. I hope you share it with Mike and Ross. That would be awesome. I want to say, without, it is emotional. It still is. But I just want to say that Mike, Ross, Jimmy, Johnny, we've talked before. You even called me and cold prospected me, Johnny. Thinking
You
that I
got
was
the
gonna
whole
buy a house
experience.
for
Very
my
nice.
parents, which was great. I loved it. But but anyways, no, I'm going to get on a serious note, and I'm going to try to hold it together. But you guys actually saved my mom's life, my mom and dad's life, more or less my mom, and for that I'm grateful. I was brought into a picture that nobody really likes to be brought into. But however, when you have a group of people, that you've been watching on YouTube or Facebook or whatever for quite a few years, and you've got friends back home and stuff like that. But when you have a team of people that truly care about other people, that means a lot in a transaction. And I will tell you, there were times where I called Mike and I was like, Mike, I can't tell them that. You're going to have to tell them this for me. I can't. do that. They will not understand it. Mike understand the circumstances. They were older. They did not understand the process. And it was really, really a messy situation at times. And Ross, you experienced one of those once or twice yourself, not even knowing that you were going to get the phone call, and handled it very, very professionally. So, next chapter is here, and I wish you guys the best. I will definitely refer to each and every one of you. I have given your names out since I'm connected, and I will continue to refer. And I just wish all you guys the best of luck in your endeavors and your futures, because you are truly one of a kind, each one of you in this industry. And I used to sell to this industry up in Georgia, big time. Closing attorneys, right on down to real estate. And you guys are very, very, very unique gentlemen. And for that, my family and myself are endeavored and fully grateful to you. And thank you.
Thank you, Tom. You're giving me goosebumps, and I'm a little embarrassed about the feelings that you're sharing with me. And thank you so much. We're gonna leave off here, Tom, because I'm going to try to get 2 more people on the show before we wrap it up today, if we can. So, Tom, I'll call you next week, I promise, and we'll go out for that beer. Let's go ahead and put Pete on the show, because Pete was the contractor that fixed the wall to get Tom's mother's wheelchair into the bathroom. So isn't that cool? It works out. Can you believe that's happening? So we got them, the contractors, to do the work.
Pete has the Superman logo as part of his
does.
business. That's Pete Walsh, of course, and he was a Superman in this case. Pete, thanks for your patience. Welcome. You're on Florida Talk Real Estate. How are you?
Good morning, guys, and happy anniversary.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you. I really appreciate it. So Pete owns Pete. I think it's called Walsh Painting and Contracting. Pete Walsh Painting and Contracting, if I'm not mistaken. Let me tell you, Pete is a very special guy, and I'm glad that I've known him. I helped Pete sell his property, and then eventually off market, he found a property on his own, and had helped negotiate for him to get the property that he moved into. I haven't seen that property yet, Pete. I need to go over and see all the repairs you've done. I'm sure it looks gorgeous. But Pete's is an awesome contractor. If you want a reliable contractor that's going to show up on time, not change the price on you after they give you a price, is going to be honest with you all the time, and actually do the work the way to meet code and all of that good stuff that you just normally think of contractors don't do, then you got to think Pete Walsh. Okay. Pete, I think it's called Pete Walsh Handyman Painting and Contracting, if I'm not mistaken. I think Handyman's in there. But Pete Walsh is great. You see his trucks. Johnny mentioned it already. He's got a crew of people. He has multiple crews. He's just not a bubble with a hammer by any means. And you see his trucks all over the place, and they got the Superman logo, which is really awesome. And Pete, I know that you know a ton of realtors too, but you came to me eventually to sell your house in Royal Palm. Could you tell me why you turned to us, and did we give you the experience that you were hoping for?
Absolutely, 100%. That's an easy question to answer. You guys are the best. I mean, you hear Johnny drive it home every week talking about how you guys are the pros and you're one-stop shop, kind of similar to myself, a one-stop shop, but you guys really know what you're doing. I can pretty much check all the boxes. You know, I've known Jim for a while. Jim's helped me out quite a bit. Mike's helped me out. I've used Paul. Ross handles my homeowner's insurance. So, you know, again, when you hear that they're pros and they can help you out and they're a one-stop shop, I mean, that's the truth. You guys really are. On top of that, you know, I listened to the show, obviously. I just want to bring a couple things up, actually. One of the shows you guys did a few weeks ago, you were talking about, you know, the presentation and pulling up to a house and what kind of vehicle you drive and, you know, what people's opinion were on that. Jim, I got to tell you, I wouldn't care if you cruised up to my place on a skateboard. You'd still be getting the job because you guys do the best job out there. So,
What if he was wearing the same shirt he's wearing now, though, Pete?
I wore this to be festive, Mike.
Get out of my head.
I got my Tom Selleck shirt on. That's what I call it, my Tom Selleck shirt. But Pete, thank you so much. And I forgot about this. When you mentioned Paul Krasker, one of the things that happened with Pete, I want to try to get. I'm going to try to squeeze Terry in, but I'm not sure. But with Pete, what happened was Pete went and did an investment deal. I forgot about this. After we helped him sell his property, he found an investment deal on the foreclosure market, tax deed market. And he told me he was so excited. He told me he got this awesome deal on a near the beach condo in Delray. And I remember driving, and when he was describing this, the first thing I thought in my head is, "Uh-oh, I think Pete's in big trouble right now." And he was like, no, I don't think I'm in trouble. And I go, well, I don't know the deal, but basically what you're telling me, if you won this bid at the price you won, all the professional bidders at the auction probably knew not to take this unit. Well, we found out that my instincts were correct, and there was a lot of liens attached to this property that Pete was going to become responsible for. And we got him over to the law office of Paula Krasker, and I was thinking, holy moly, this is never going to work. He's going to get hurt. But somehow Paul found an out and got him out of the contract for the foreclosure auction. And he was able to get out of it. I think it cost him a little bit of money to get out, but compared to what he could have lost, it was a very good deal that he was able to get out of. And I forgot about that. And we got him over to Paul, and Paul helped him out.
yeah, absolutely. I was in a tight spot. It was a bad situation. They really helped me out. Again, great job. Lifesaver, 100%. And Jim, yeah, your instincts were correct. And, I'm glad I was able to get out of it. And, Paul was great. Mike's been great. He's helped me out on a couple deals, and Mike's a very straightforward guy. You ask him, can I afford this? Does it make sense to do it? He'll give you very simple answers. He's very patient, and he'll tell you whether, it's the right move for you or not. And that's what you want with the people you're dealing with in those types of situations.
Thank you. And thank you, Pete, for calling in the show. I know you're super, super busy, even on Saturdays. So thank you so much for calling in. And we're going to go out soon. Okay, man? I want to see the house. I want to see the upgrades.
Well, one last thing. I know we got to go, but one last thing. I'm hearing a lot about beers on the show, Joe, and Jim, I just want to throw it out there that I think you've owed me a beer now for about a year, so we gotta make that happen.
That's right. I forgot. I owe you a beer, and I'm not a Welcher, so we have to go out for a beer. And you live out in the same area as Mike, so maybe Mike will come out with us too.
And Johnny too.
You had me a beer.
Oh yeah, that's right. Johnny's out there too. We'll all get together.
Yeah.
So
you start mentioning beer, the Brett Kavanaugh in me comes out. I like it.
Yeah. Hey, I know that Jimmy is going to tell us any second that we don't have any time left. So Terry, I'm so sorry we didn't get you on. This is the second time Terry's called the show. He's a great customer of ours, and I'm very grateful to have him in my life. But we're going to have to talk to you next week, Terry, on the show. I'm so sorry about that.
Flat rate out of time, unfortunately.
Yeah, and
hey, no problem, man. No problem. Wish it could be.
Okay, cool. And I really want to talk to Terry because Terry has there's a funny story related to Terry. Terry's the caller who called me once and asked me, will the dead body in the backyard affect the value of my property or not? That's a call I'm never going to forget. So we're going to go over that story next week. The dead body in the backyard. Is it going to affect my property value or not? And my first question to Terry was, which Mike asked, is it a human body? And we're going to tell you next week what the deal was with that. But it was a human body.
I think that's an example right there that, man, this team has been through all kinds of situations and helped people through those situations, whether it's a dead body buried in the backyard or just a huge financial nightmare that potentially is in front of you. Let the pros help you navigate through what you're trying to do. Buying a home, selling a home, stuck with a home you don't know what to do. Property insurance killing you. You're looking to refi, maybe not right now, but in the future. Position yourself is what you need to do, and you need information. It is king. This team of pros, you can get them all. The one-stop real estate shop, it's floridatalkrealestate.com. Use it, know it, love it, and share it. You can change lives by sending people to floridatalkrealestate.com. Mike Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Johnny. Thanks everybody for calling. What a great show. Good to reminisce with some of these clients, and looking forward to a great 2023.
It has been a great run, and it is far from over. So remember, floridatalkrealestate.com. You can reach out to Ross Komarinetz, Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. Have a great weekend, my friend.
Thank you. You do the same, and it's been awesome to be a part of all this. And thank you for having me, Jim, and love working with everybody. Happy anniversary.
I know I can speak for Jimothy as well. Me and Jimothy, we're kind of a really smaller part of this team. It's just the radio show aspect. Jimothy does a lot behind the scenes. Thanks for everything over all the years, Jimothy. He's going to stick around. Joe and Greek in the locker room are next. And, of course, Jimmy D. That's Jim DePola, our fearless leader. Thanks for putting it all together and keeping us all tight there, Jimmy D. Thanks for all the hard work you put in. You're muted. Have a great weekend, my friend.
Happy South Florida, everybody. I forgot to say it. Happy South Florida.
Locker room is next. Stick around. We'll be back next Saturday. 2 hours of infotainment every Saturday. It's Florida Talk Real Estate right here. It's Real Radio.
The visual age